Welcome. It is me, your host, Billyfishing, and I am where I usually am at this time of the year. Yes, Arctic Norway. I haven't been able to get out and do much fishing lately because of just the sheer number of storms. Today there is what is now considered a light wind at about 15 meters a second. At last I've got out and I'm going to do a bit of fishing. It's just a short window. And for all those people that want bait rods come when bait rods come. Spinning is when spinning is, okay? Please don't try and force the content. It's just not going to work for either one of us, right? And it's not because I prefer spinning over bait rods or anything else. It's just about possibilities, okay? That's it. So today I am here to solve a quandary, if you will, in my brain. Is why weren't the fish biting all this time? I think they were. I just think they were somewhere else in the water. And before somebody writes in with the moron's mantra, I could have told you that. No, you couldn't, because you weren't here. You didn't know what was going on, right? I'm here to exercise a theory, and that theory is that the fish are feeding on the unusual amount of mackerel that are still here. It is unbelievable. I have noticed over the last few weeks that the jigs aren't even hitting the floor before a fish takes them. When you go back to wherever it is you came from and you're sitting down and you're thinking about the day that has passed, you think to yourself, maybe it's the mackerel that are distracting them. What is distracting the mackerel? Who knows? They're all up around the surface as well all the time, which is not a mackerel thing. Usually they're either mid or down the bottom. We're not talking hundreds of meters of water here. We're talking 15 to 20 meters, 10 meters, 12 meters. But they're all cruising around the top. And this seems to be distracting the fish. So today I'm going to be fishing plugs and subsurface lures, that type of thing. And if that's not going to produce, of course, I'm going to whip out a traditional slow jig or knife jig or whatever type of jig and fish down the bottom, always. But I'm here to exercise a theory, and that's what it's going to be. The first lure I'm going to tie on, it is a plug. It's a GT needle lure, it's called, and I'm going to fish that with twin assists on the rear, right? Because treble hooks are just savage, and they aren't actually all that good, except on surface lures like poppers and other things like that. But you can do better. Just a pair of very short twin assists fished in the same fashion is better all the time, right? It just is. It's not just because treble hooks are cruel or whatever like that. Their nature is that they lever each other out because of the stiff barb that's connected to all three hooks, right? This is a thing, whether you know it or not. People combat this by putting extra split rings. I and many other people have decided that they're rubbish, and we just go with twin assists. Yes, it's a thing that's been started now in the Pacific, and it's rolling around to everywhere. I first tried it last year, and although it didn't make it into any videos, it worked very well. This is where I'm going to fish. Down here, you've probably seen a few videos from it. Let's get in there and let's get fishing. So, as I always do, I'll introduce the gear. The heaviest of the two rods is the Abu Salty style. It comes in at 30 to 100 grams, 30 pound mainline, 60 pound leader. And the lighter of the two is the Shimano Salty Advance, 30 to 80 grams, 5000 size Nazak, 15 pound mainline, and a 40 pound leader. And since I'm going to be starting with this, here is the GT needle lure, and it's got 4.0 twin assists on the back. That's what it's got. This is a better option than trebles, and it weighs in at 40 grams. So I'm going to get this in and see if we get a fish, see if my hypothesis is right. I could say that, yes I could. Up my head you go. Let's see if we can get a fish. I've got the gaff ready, I've got the stuff ready, I've got everything ready, right? So I'm going to get in here, see if I can catch a fishy. I hope my suspicions are correct, because a few more extra fish, especially on subsurface or even possibly on top water, would be so bloody good. Right, so up my head you go and let's get some fishing done. Yeah. Okay. Not okay. Right. So the wind's a bit annoying, yes it is, but it will definitely help with the casting. So we're going to get this in and see if we catch a fishy. And that huge tag end sticking off the end of that lure is, don't worry about it. Out it goes. They cast extremely well for a plug anyway. So I'm going to let it sink to mid-water. The water there is 10 meters deep where that landed. And they sink rather slowly. So I'd say that is actually about mid-water right now. So you get with the cranking. And of course, the faster you retrieve this, the higher up in the water column it's going to swim. And they do have a very delicious action. Very erratic for such a symmetrical jig, but that's the way it is. Do I get a first cast fishing? That's what I'm wondering. Coldfish are absolutely bonkers about these things. If anybody was wondering about a good coldfish lure, this is one of them for sure. Anyway, no, wasn't first cast fish, but is that too much to ask? Of course it is. So the fish I have been taking on the surface are on this end of this sandbank that I've talked about in every other video that I've fished here. I'm not going to show the phone charts. There's a bank there, there's one over there. 5 meters under the surface this one is, that one's 8 meters. And there's 20 meters here, 10 meters there. Right. Let that guy shoot down. They've been picking me up just below the surface. So I'm just going to actually let this one hit the sea floor and work it from that point up, since I didn't get nailed the first time. It's not taking any more lines, so I'm going to put the reel in gear. I would say that it's probably down. We'll give it some, right? I don't believe fish like slow lures. Ever. There he is. Right, we'll let that guy shoot down. Right. No, they don't seem to be around right now. I reckon I'm gonna move. So, that little headland over there, that's where I'm gonna be the next time I turn on the camera. Nice, see you over there. So I have arrived. Yes, that's it. And this is where I'm going to be fishing. We'll get in there, we'll get fishing, yeah. Down halfway it goes. If it catches Billy, another cod. Subsurface, who knows? Right. Am I in? Yes, I am. My hypothesis is correct. I got a fishy. Oh yes, I'm right. It's good to be right for a change. Oh, it's a great fish as well. You sure he's on? Light rod as well. Fantastic. What is it though? Oh, it's a nice fish, man. Now I'm really excited to see what this is and why it was feeding, where it was feeding, if I ever get it in, because this is a really good fish. He's found himself some stuff to hang into. I'm gonna go pollock. For some reason, they're feeding on the surface, out in the open water these days. Now he's hung up. There he goes, there he goes. This is not the time for big waves, thank you. Here he comes. Here he comes. Ah, oh, it's a big cod. Is it a pollock? What is it? Jesus, it's not even that big. It's just really strong. It's a cod. Red cod. Red cod. On the surface, right? Cod feeding on the surface. Ow! He's biting the hand off me. Right, yeah, that was an unexpected one. Didn't expect to see this guy. But that just proves my point, right? This is where the fish are feeding right now, for whatever reason. Yes, 5.5, 6, I'll give him. Nice fish. They're so strong. Wow, look at him. Fantastic. This is the guy here. Well, anyway, just below the surface this cod is feeding. So I am going to kill this fish and Nicky G me it. I have a video on it, both flatfish and roundfish. I'll link it in the description. Okay, nice. So I'm going to get this guy dispatched and to bleed out. He's my dinner tomorrow. I've got dinner for tonight, but anyway, nice. We just put him in here. He'll be fine. So we get another jig in, or plug in this case. Is that my first cod on a plug? I think it is actually. Wow! Okay, 100 meters out, 4 meters below the surface, maybe higher, who knows. Little bit unnerving. Right, we get it out again, see if we get a fishy. Nice. So I've had a whole bunch of casts and the day is coming to an end according to the sun and the blowing wind and the rain that is forecast. So this is going to be last cast. Let's see if we get that last cast fish. All right, up on my head you go. Yeah. Right, we'll get it out. See if we can replicate the results. Right, let's see if we get a last cast fish. Oh, why am I standing here? I lost my mind. Here he comes. Ah, there you go. No last cast fishy. Well, what can you do? So there we go, right? Cod, subsurface. Just as I talked about in the beginning of the video. Some of the cynics out there might think I got lucky and everything else, but since I started the video in this manner, I hope this proves a point. It is also a neap tide, so my chances were actually getting worse as the video went on. I hope you liked it. I'm Billy, this is Billy catching cod subsurface. Wherever you are in the world, remember, I'll see you on the beach. Bye!